This video is being recorded on Sunday, July 24th at 12:02 Pacific time. I'm just going to do a quick preview of the Forex markets for next week and see which pairs are set up and maybe good to trade. So I already did a quick screening of all these Forex pairs and picked out a couple ones that may look like they are going to trend. So as far as the history for the last couple of weeks, last week it looks like the trends in a lot of the pairs have slowed down, noticeably the US dollar. This month earlier it was trending up, but now it looks like US dollar is retracing a bit. You can see against the Swiss franc, it's been bearish this last week, and even against the JPY, it's also been bearish as well this last week. So yeah, we were seeing the dollar strong, the JPY weak for most of this month, but this recent week it looks like it's slowing down a bit on these trends. Same thing with CAD JPY, even against the Canadian dollar, the Japanese yen is doing well this last week, so there was not a breakout of this high here. It looks like the Swiss franc, it's the remaining currency that's continuing its trend upwards. The Swiss franc has been strong against the US dollar, with the US dollar for most of this month. But it's been continuing its strength this last week, whereas the US dollar has not. So a lot of the ones I'm looking to trade set up for next week is maybe the Euro Swiss franc and the Pound Swiss franc. So the Euro and the Pound have been weak for the last several weeks here. These two look like the best setups to trade as far as the weekly trends. So yeah, let me go over the Euro Swiss franc first. So we see that several weeks ago at the end of June, it did break out of the lows set back in at the end of February and March. And even though the speed of the sell-off has been slowing down a little bit with these retracements seen as wicks on the weekly chart, it is still going down. And if I zoom out, it doesn't look like there's much support going forward. Even on the monthly chart, looks like it's continuing to make fresh lows every month. Yeah, the last low set by this pair was in January 2015, and even that was a huge wick. So it doesn't indicate continuous or strong support, and the downtrends are actually continuous on the monthly chart as well. You can see the Ichimoku Tenkan-sen and Kijun-sen lines, they are angling down, and the price is below both of them. So that's indicating a trend here. As far as the daily trend or the daily chart on Euro Swiss franc, it is at the support, closed at the support on Friday. And if you look closely, you can see the close is actually right on the doji wick low. So if there is a breakout next week, it could be continuous. Yeah, looking at the 4-hour chart makes it more clear. It's closing right at the support zone, maybe 0.826 to 0.812. So if it does break out this week, I'll be looking for a trade on Euro Swiss franc. Pound Swiss franc looks similar as well, although the pound is not nearly as sold as much as the euro. So if we take a look at the weekly chart, you can see it is at the bottom low, close to where March 2020 was, around the 1.1496 level. But it's also trending downwards. Unlike the Euro Swiss franc, there's no trend yet on the monthly chart. That's why I say I prefer Euro Swiss franc a little bit more in this setup. But if the Swiss franc keeps gaining strength, we'll probably see a breakout on the pound Swiss franc as well on the monthly chart. That'll start a trend here. weekly, it's already trending down. So last week, you can see the buyers tried to push it up, but intra-week it got sold down again and actually closed lower than the high. So that is looking hopeful that the sellers are going to have a breakout. Same thing on the daily chart. Although I will say it has been testing the low for a longer time than Euro Swiss franc has. And if you look at the 4-hour chart, this is the clear level established support that we have to break through in order for it to be continuous. Yeah, so we'll see if the breakout happens or not. But these are the two main pairs I'm watching. And I'll show you actually the Euro pound chart to give an idea of which of these two currencies is stronger. So Euro against the pound, it's been largely flat because, you know, these are all European currencies. So it makes sense it doesn't fluctuate a lot. But even then, it looks like, you know, maybe in the last month, the euro has been kind of weak against the pound. It was going up and trying to break the Kumo at the end of June, but euro either got sold down or pound gained a lot of strength. And right now, it's just completely flat on the weekly trend. On the daily, it's also flat, but looking a little bit more bearish. We made a lower high on the week of, or on July 21st, and this was kind of a big sell-off that broke the trend line support going up. So yeah, this pair, just from looking at the ratio between euro and pound, it's not clear, but if I were to make a bet, I would say pound would be stronger going forward. So yeah, that's my reason why I would maybe more likely trade Euro Swiss franc over pound Swiss franc. I did look at the JPY pairs, but right now it looks like they're not trending. As I mentioned, C80 JPY, it looks like it's retracing. It's still maybe, yeah, it's still trending on the weekly time frame, but it's just taking more time to break out of the previous high. Could happen this week, or there could be a continued retracement down to the Tenkan Sen or Kijun Sen. And then yeah, Friday was kind of a big sell-off for this pair. Same thing with USD JPY. It's also trending on the weekly time frame, but last week was a retracement candle, so it could keep going down until the market finds support somewhere before either going into a range or attempting a new breakout. But may not happen this week, so I'll be checking JPY pairs, but maybe not actively trading them. And then, oh yeah, so US dollar Swiss franc last week was a bearish candle, as I thought it might be the previous weekend. Unfortunately, if I wasn't able to capture the full trend because it wasn't very fast breakout on the daily and the 4-hour charts. So I think I tried entering a couple times and either got out with a break even or slight loss. And then, yeah, Friday morning in the New York session was when the next big breakout happened, but I wasn't checking the charts here, so I did not capture the full move. As far as retracement, it could keep going down maybe for another 70 or 90 pips, but then, you know, yeah, 40 more pips would bring it to the first previous low made back on May. It might bounce in that area, or it could go down maybe another 100 pips and bounce at the June 29th low. But most of the profits have been made in this retracement trade on dollar Swiss franc, so I may not be looking to trade this one as closely. As you can see, it is getting to the weekly Kijun-sen, so it could be supported somewhere around the 0.9586 level. If it does break this level this week, it could go down a lot lower to maybe the previous highs made on November last year or September. So yeah, it's either going to be supported here, or it may take a little bit more time if US dollar continues to be weak and could go down a bit more. But yeah, this next week I'll mainly be checking Euro Swiss franc, Pound Swiss franc, and those are my priorities. Other Euro pairs, dollar pairs, it looks like they're retracing for the moment. In the long term, weekly, monthly, they still look to be downtrending, but no immediate breakout setup is apparent to me.